They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. There's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
Take a look at what happened.
I want to even make it a little bit more emotional. What if that had been President Obama that was giving a speech on Joe Biden's behalf or something like that, and somebody did that to President Obama? Hillary Clinton. What if that had been President Clinton?
Take a look at what happened.
Oh my.
Lego wavy. All right, I'm sure by now a lot of people have heard about the shots heard pretty much around the world. All right, this has been nonstop on all the mainstream medias, on all the independent medias, on all the various news outlets since this happened. All right, I'm talking about the attempt of taking the life of former president and right now the nominee for the Republican Party, President Donald Trump. Some are even saying that this is a publicity stunt pulled by President Trump and his party, but I don't get how. Before I move on, I do want to take a second or two to acknowledge the people that lost their life or the people fighting for their lives right now. I believe that one retired, I believe he was a volunteer fire chief. And then I believe that there are 2 other people in critical condition right now fighting for their lives. So I hope and wish them all a speedy recovery. Also, we had President Trump making that 4 people that were hit. He, as we all know, was grazed in his ear. Thank God he turned his head at that particular moment, because if he didn't, who knows what we would be facing right now as a nation. It's really sickening what I'm seeing some of y'all going on with online. Especially when I don't like President Biden, but I'm not going to wish for him to be hurt or anything like that. I'm not going to wish harm on him. And God forbid something did happen, I'm going to wish him to get well. You know, even when I saw him falling up the stairs, falling off his bike and all that, I said, I hope that, you know, you guys can put the training wheel on to help protect him. Myself, along with a lot of people on the right, actually advocate for taking President Biden out of the presidential office so that he could go relax in a retirement home, eating applesauce and yogurt around the clock, instead of them parading him around DC, knowing that this man is not coherent in the least. Now, this was the Secret Service hopping on President Trump, and he did say that he was a little bit like, you know, shaken up a little bit. I believe he said he lost a shoe, and then he had a big bruise on his forearm from when they pushed him down to the ground.
That shit was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. I lived in Harlem long enough to know that gunshots do not sound like making popcorn on the stove. Pop, pop, pop. Where'd the blood come from?
Nigga Trump, that nigga black at this point. He done been convicted. That nigga got felonies. You feel me? This nigga done been shot at, nigga, shot in the ear, whatever it was. All this nigga needs to do at this point is drop a fucking mixtape, and he's the hardest nigga out. Like, right now, it's a wrap, nigga. Like, it's done. He's dropping flags and microphones at you niggas. He's harder than some of you soft niggas I know who claim you hard. You feel me?
People, if you hear firing or something that sounds like it could potentially be shots, please get down. My brother right here, he know. He look like he's damn near on the ground laying down. This guy is really looking around. Yo, what does he know? Does he see something? Can somebody interview him and see what this guy knows? Here we have 2 Secret Service guys that have come out. Now, this is where I got the issue. All right. Now, look how long, okay, they're in front of this podium. At this point, we don't know if it's a lone gunman. We don't know if there's multiple gunmen. Check out how long he's in front of this podium.
Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on, your head is bloody.
Okay, wide open target, wide open target. Now he's a little bit closed. What I don't get really right here is he's up in front of the podium wide open, okay? And then he has these short women as his Secret Service officers. Trump is 6'3", okay? He has these short women around him. This one over here look about 5'3", okay? And this one here look like she might be 5'5", maybe 5'6" with some heels on. Why are they around him? What can they prevent from hitting him if they have a wide open shot at his head? Now this made an iconic picture and moment that is going to go down in history books forever. All right, my man just got shot through up the black fist, got the blood on his face. But my issue with this is, why does the Secret Service have him here for all this time if there's still a shooter on the loose? We don't know how many shooters. It's almost like if, and I hear some people saying that this seems like an inside job, or it could be allegedly an inside job. This right here is crazy to me, that he is standing this long in front of the podium in real time. This is, so we're at 10, we're at 07.
Watch out.
So we're over 10 seconds. We're at 14 seconds. Okay, if there were multiple shooters, this Secret Service would have failed. Okay, and the chair of the Secret Service, she has already come out and said that this was a mistake, that this was terrible, but she's not going to resign. So that's just the way it goes with these bureaucrats. Here's the actual image, from the right angle that captures the flag in the back. I thought this was iconic. Here's where it starts to get a little bit creepy. All of this is allegedly, okay, none of this is confirmed, okay, but it's saying that there were people in the audience that were screaming out to law enforcement for a while that there was a guy on top of a roof with a firearm, and nobody took any sort of action. Let's check it out.
And you know, that's a little bit.
He's going down!
And people were saying that, some said about 15 seconds before he even starts firing. And I read somewhere where the snipers that were by Trump that end up taking out the guy see him, okay, and they're radioing over, hey, can I engage? Can I engage? And there was no answer. Okay, now doing more research, I learned that at that distance that they wouldn't have even needed permission to engage, because he was at such a close distance, to the president. Which brings me to another question. Why was this area not secured if we have the former president going to be there? Why was this place? Because it's an open field, okay? So when you look across the open field and you see a couple buildings, you should be able to say, hey, those buildings have a plain sight line to where the president's going to be. Maybe we need to get there and lock it down. And from what I've been told in watching things and reading up on stuff, like the Secret Service, there are stuff that they cover on a basic level, and then they ramp up from there. You know what I'm saying? So if they see a roof that possibly has a vantage point and an opening point, then they might, say, hey, that needs to be addressed. Let's just say hypothetically, there's a train that comes through at this time. Okay, that needs to be addressed. They're going to check all these places. Okay, but to me, not enough was checked, because you have people in the audience saying that they could see it. So that's no magnifying glass, no radios, no high-tech police gear that we're paying all these people billions of dollars for every year in their budget. We don't have none of that. And people were able to see it and call it out, and nothing was done.
Stay over here.
How do you miss that? We don't miss those! Come on, man! Fuck! We don't miss those!
Now, this is a little bit crazy to me, because this is the party that claims to be tolerant, right? This is the party that claims to be so empathetic to all the refugees around the world that they could come here to America, and pretty much get everything for free and live for free on the backs of the tax-paying Americans. Okay, these are the people, right? They're so empathetic, but now I'm even talking to like my family, my friends and stuff like that. And I'm just asking them, like, how do you, like, President Trump got shot? Because a lot of people don't want to talk politics with me for whatever reason. And So I didn't talk politics, you know what I'm saying? It was Sunday, the day right after this happened. I thought that, hey, everyone is talking about this. Everyone is literally having this conversation right now because in all languages, you know, this is primetime top headline news. So we have a little bit of a conversation and I'm like, so you're not at the very least going to condemn this violence? You're not at the very least going to wish a speedy recovery and prayers to President Trump and his family? And not one would do it. Not one. To me, if something had happened to President Biden, I would want him to get well soon. You know what I'm saying? Even when we see him having gaffes, I want to even make it a little bit more emotional. What if that had been President Obama that was giving a speech on Joe Biden's behalf or something like that, and somebody did that to President Obama? Hillary Clinton. What if that had been President Clinton? What if it had been... Would there be that same response where people are saying that they will not even condemn the violence and at the very least say thoughts and prayers are with this person and that person? Because if the shoes were on other feet, I would, you know. But that just shows how demonic these people really are. And some of them claim to be, you know, in the churches, claim to be, you know, serving God or serving Jesus or serving whoever they serve, but you know what I'm saying? You still standing for violence. You're still standing for hatred. You're still standing for people being attacked because even other people are saying, yeah, well, they didn't get the job done. Well, somebody else has to go get the job done. And thank God President Trump was not stripped of his Secret Service, even though they gave him DEIs, which is almost as bad as being stripped of it. Democrats tried to strip Trump's Secret Service protections just months before assassination attempt. Now, isn't that a little bit fishy? Isn't President Clinton still receiving Secret Service? Don't all presidents have that until the day they die and their families? Okay, George W. Bush, doesn't he have Secret Service? Hillary Clinton benefits because her husband had Secret Service. Okay, the Bushes, the Obamas, Joe Biden, because he had it during his first presidency with Obama. Why is it Trump is the only one that is being targeted to remove his Secret Service and it's months before this happens? But nah, it's all staged, right? It's all staged. They called the man names, okay? They tried to impeach him. They tried to indict him. They tried to, and when none of that worked, now they tried to off him and the man is still standing and the man is still putting the American people first. This is from the next morning after the event, okay? And this is the former president staying committed to staying on the campaign trail.
Winston Churchill famously said, "Nothing in life is so exhilarating as to be shot at without effect." And you could see that today, the idea that just hours ago, a few days ago, this man, an assassin's bullet whizzed by him, hit him in the ear, inches from his temple. I mean, just by the slightest fraction of an inch.
This whole thing was crazy. Never in my lifetime have I witnessed a potential attempt at taking a former president's life or a president's life. Like, I'm glad that would-be assassin was returned fire and he is laying in the ground and, you know, rest in piss, bitch. Let me know how you're feeling about all of this. Do you think it was staged? Do you think it was an inside job? Do you think it was just a lone wolf? Do you think it was a stroke of good luck where all the stars aligned, where this man was able to get onto a roof with a firearm and potentially could have ended the former president's life? Who knows what could have been triggered off from that? Could another civil war have been started? Like, you know, I don't know. I'm just happy that he wasn't successful, you know, and God was with President Trump on that day. And I mean, I will condemn violence, peace, peace, peace. All right. I don't even think that we should be going to wars in places. I believe in peace, peace, peace. All right. So I do not think that this was a good move at all. And I do not advise anyone out there to try to replicate something like this, because you're going to replicate the pictures of the gunman that you saw too. All right. And it doesn't make sense. All right. If you want to beat somebody, go down to the polls in November and beat them there. If you want to beat someone in a local election, go down to the polls on your local elections and beat them there. Same for your state elections and the federal elections. All right. But it should not be trying to intimidate people, threaten people, commit violence against people, we do not have any space for something like that. Okay? If you want to beat a political opponent, beat them at the polls. That's all I really got to say, man. But really, till the next video, y'all be safe and stay wavy.
Hey, I heard they just tried to whack my boy Trump. I'm glad that man's okay. Long live Trump. Let's go, baby. Trump 2024.